In this video, we're going to put 3 whistles to the test. I can tell you from firsthand experience that I've used whistles to control fire, and we also hear all the time that they are an effective means of communicating in an emergency purpose and environment. So we're going to put this 2 different scenarios here. One is wide out in the open, and then we're also going to test and see how well they can cut through the woods as well. We're going to do about 500 meters, 1,000 meters, and 1,500 meters. And we'll see which one comes out on top. Or any of them worth pot to piss in. And we have the Fox 40 Classic. This thing is a mainstay staple in the military today. Can be found in every clothing and sales out there. You're looking at the ACR whistle. This particular one was issued by the United States Marine Corps in an emergency survival kit back in the 1990s. And then we also have another whistle that I picked up off of eBay. I got it because it's nice and thin, and I felt that it would be a good compact add to some of my kit bags. Looking at my app here for the weather, we've had 0.2 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. In fact, it just stopped. We do have a little bit of wind that's coming in from the south towards the north, and it is 84% humidity. Feels like 43. Allegedly have a visibility of 11 miles. So I think this will be a good test out here in the field environment. Again, we're going to do it twice, once out through the open and once out through the woods, and we'll see how effective they are, because that should give you at least some sort of confidence in the whistles that are out there on the market and how effective they are or are not. I have no idea what we're going to find out here, but let's find out. Camera set up and we'll get on the road. Come on. All right, so we got set up on the hill. We are now at about 500 meters. So let's see how well she does here. Fox 40. ACR, here we go. The China Classic. That thing is loud as shit. We're at about 1,000 meters. Fox. ACR. China Classic. So now we're about 1,500 meters away, and that's quite a ways. So we'll see how this thing does. Fox. ACR. China Classic. At this distance, I'm gonna be surprised if it picked it up. Probably got to really adjust and tweak some of the volume settings, but we'll see. So here they are. Which one's gonna come out on top, man? Or any of them worth pot to piss in. All right, so we just got the open airway test done, if you will. at about 500, 1,000, and 1,500 meters. Now we're going to see how well these things cut through the trees. All right, so now we got the camera set up out in the woods and have a road that's going to kind of bend around a little bit. It's going to be a little bit harder to get closer to exact distances, but we'll see what we can do. So I'll be back. All right, so I'll plot this on the back end to see what the exact distance is, but it's got to be at least, 300-400 meters away. Fox. ACR. China Classic. So if I had to estimate, we're probably close to 1,000 meters anyways. It's going to be a great test. If any of these things can punch through these woods, man, you know that you got something that can save your life. Fox 40 ACR. China Classic. All right, so test is complete. We're going to take it back and do an analysis, and I'll see you in a few days, and we'll see which one came up on top and which one that you can have trust and confidence in. We got 3 different pitches. Sounds like about the same volume, but certainly I think that pitch is going to carry a little bit of a difference. And then of course one in wide open space and one out through this thick brush at 3 different distances. Let's take a look at the results. All right, so we got all the video put together. We got it chopped up. I did a little bit of EQ work, as I noted, in some overlays. And I think that we can draw a few conclusions. One, at 500 meters, all of these whistles perform adequately. And so this is what this tells you. That if somebody is in the same grid squares, like if you were in the middle of a grid square and anybody was in that grid square, the likelihood of somebody hearing you out to 500 meters, whether it's open terrain or highly vegetated, you have a really good probability of discovery. The second thing I think we can draw is that anything at 1,000 meters and beyond, a whistle is ineffective. And I'm going to say that for a couple reasons. One, if there is any background noise at all, for example, the wind that we heard, that completely rendered the whistle useless to be heard at normal levels. Only if we crank it up can we actually hear anything. So you can imagine if there's any vehicle noise, if there's any kind of camp noise, whatever it may be out there, at 1,000 meters and beyond, I don't think that we should rely on. So of course there are a ton of other environmental factors as it relates to terrain and weather that are going to play a significant role in this. But I think that we should just take this for what it is and say that 500 meters and closer, it's going to stand a pretty good chance of being heard. So I think the other thing that we can draw and interpolate from this, if I can start making it my own words, is that the pitches did have a difference, right? So the China Classic had a much lower pitch than the ACR and way much lower than the Fox Classic, right? As it relates to wavelengths and the ability to travel distances, that lower tone is, as we saw, going to be able to travel and penetrate a little bit further through the open air as well as through the vegetated terrain. So take that for what it's worth. I think there's something telling in this because, a lot of times I and other people will tell you to be extremely cautious on your noise discipline, and that is 100% true statement, especially if you're operating in a contested environment. However, pause for dramatic effect. Remember that these whistles are at about 110, 120 decibels in volume, right? So if something is not peaking that loud at 500 meters, it's not going to be heard, right? You're not going to hear somebody talking, breaking a branch, or anything else like that if you're out 500 meters more. And this is why it goes back into my stealth camping video suggesting that you should be at least 400 meters off of a road or trail system. You can have some a better sense of security, if you will, that you're not going to be discovered. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be one. I just drink common tears, smoke cigars, and know a few things. So looking forward to your thoughts and your comments down below as we continue to keep this conversation rolling. As always, until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.